everyone, my name is Montana Ray. I'm a certified sommelier and self-proclaimed foodie here at the Wine Ship in Denver, Colorado. And here in my neighborhood, it is springtime and everyone is gearing up for an awesome summer of camping, picnics, and of course, concerts at Red Rocks Amphitheater. Red Rocks is just about 20 minutes outside of my front door here, so I am super excited to be getting ready for my first show of the season. And I want to make it extra special for myself and for my group of friends who I'm meeting up for a little tailgating before the show. I'm going to show you the complete food, wine, and cocktail preparation that I've created for this very special kickoff to our summer fun. So what is on the menu? Food first, right? So I am making the most incredible beef tenderloin TaCones. What is a TaCone? It's a taco in a cone. So it's a handheld pocket of deliciousness, and these are so perfect for outdoor enjoyment. They're such a crowd pleaser, they're easy to hold, and super delicious. The beef tenderloin I'm working with today comes from Aspen natural Angus beef. It is USDA choice graded, certified humane, has no added hormones or antibiotics, and the cattle are fed no animal byproducts. Really high quality product. They're super transparent about the way their beef is raised, and it makes a huge difference in the flavor and quality of every cut that I've tried. Aspen Ridge products can be found in Safeway stores in Denver and around the Rocky Mountains, in the butcher's case, or prepackaged in the rest of the meat selection. So look for the Aspen leaf logo on their packaging. You can't miss it in the case. I've selected a lineup of wines from a brand called Disruption Wine Company in Washington State, and these are going to work so beautifully with the flavors. I've pulled 2 white wines because it's almost summer, and one of them is a Riesling that's just a little bit sweet. It's going to go so well with the spicy dish. And then the other is a lightly oaked Chardonnay that's going to be really amazing and flavorful with this combination of food. And then for a red wine, because there's always the red wine lover in the group, I'm going with the Disruption Red Blend, which is an amazing combination of single vineyard Malbec and Cabernet Sauvignon. It's nice and bold and fruit forward, and it's going to go so perfectly for the TaCones, for that red wine lover in the group. And all the wines have screw cap closures, so they're super easy to open when we're out and about. I decided to create a marinade for the beef using mezcal and some other richly flavored ingredients. Since I already had the mezcal in the mix today, I decided to use the same one in my cocktail pairing, so we're going to have a spicy mezcal paloma as an option in addition to the wines, which is one of my favorite cocktails ever. Since I'll be serving everything from the back of my car today, I'm going to prep as much as I possibly can right here at home, so it's really just assemble and serve when we get up to Red Rocks. In the blog post linked below in this video's notes, you'll find the complete shopping list for everything on the menu today, plus a day of packing list for a few key items, so you can be sure to have everything you need on hand as you head out for your adventure. I already got a little head start on putting all of this together this morning. First, I made some super easy pickled red onions. And this step is absolutely optional, but I am telling you, these can really elevate your TaCones, and they're also so good with a number of other dishes like burgers or salads or anything you're doing off of the grill. They are so good, and I just love having them around in the fridge. They add a nice little crunch. Next, I put together that marinade that I mentioned before. So for that, I started with half of a 7-ounce can of chipotle peppers in adobo sauce, which I smashed up using my cocktail muddler actually, and then 4 cloves of finely chopped garlic, the juice from 1 lime, half a cup of mezcal, a tablespoon of soy sauce, some fish sauce, a little cumin, oregano, salt and pepper, and I mixed all of that up in a plastic bag, and then I added my 2 half-pound Aspen Ridge natural Angus beef tenderloins. I'm planning on serving about 4 people, so I planned for a 1/4 pound of meat per person. Of course, you're gonna wanna scale your proportions as needed depending on how many people you have. So I got the marinade going, the beef and all those ingredients, kind of squished it around, and my pickling onions, and I put those 2 separate containers into the refrigerator to kind of do their thing. And so now I'm ready to get busy with the rest of my preparation. The TaCones are all about the beef, of course, and really you can get as creative as you like with the rest of the recipe. For mine today, I'm making a simple sauteed fajita veggie blend using the half of my red onion that didn't go into the pickled red onion, and then 1 entire red bell pepper, and about 1/4 of my jalapeno pepper to add an extra pop of color and a little bit of spice. I slice the veggies julienne style and then saute them in a pan with a drizzle of oil until they are cooked to my liking. And then from there, I let them cool and I transferred them to one of my glass lock containers and just popped them into the fridge. Next, I've got some queso fresco, which I just cut a piece of, and then I use my fingers to crumble it up and transfer it into another glass lock container, and then that goes into the fridge as well. For additional toppings, because it's all about the toppings, right? I'm going to chop up some fresh cilantro and slice another 1/4 of my jalapeno, and I'm going to put these together into one small container, just in there together because people can pick out what they want, and then into the fridge that goes with everything else. As far as other toppings I'm packing, I've got an easy squeeze container of sour cream, a couple bottles of different hot sauces, my pickled red onions, of course, from earlier, and an avocado. And I don't want to cut into the avocado until we get to Red Rocks because I don't want it to get brown and weird, so I've made a note on the packing list to put a knife and a spoon in your cooler so you can do that part up there. I've also got my tortillas, and I don't know about you, but for me, the tortillas are such a key part of any recipe like this. So I actually made a special trip over to the little Mexican grocery store in my neighborhood to get the handmade ones. I just love their soft, pliable texture. I think it makes all the difference in the recipe. So that's almost everything except for the beef, of course. And I'm going to wait to cook my beef until right before I head out the door because I want to serve it as close to the time that I cooked it as possible. You do have a couple of options when it comes to how to prep your beef, so I'll go over those in a moment. So for the cocktail, I'm going to juice 2 grapefruits and 2 limes, so half of each citrus fruit per cocktail. And I'm going to thinly slice and add the final 1/4 of my jalapeno because I do like my cocktail a little bit spicy. Then I'm going to measure in 2 ounces of simple syrup or agave nectar, whichever you have on hand, and 8 ounces of the mezcal. I'm going to add ice and a splash of soda water when it's time to serve, so I'll wait to do that when we get up to Red Rocks. I'll put all of this into my thermos and then into the fridge it goes, and we'll store it there until we're ready to go. I'm also going to take my final lime and go ahead and slice that so it's available to hang on the side of our glasses with our mezcal paloma or to squeeze over the TaCones. Whatever everyone wants to do, we have a little bit of extra citrus on hand. Now that everything is prepped, it's time to cook my beef tenderloin. Like I said earlier, you have options when it comes to cooking it. If you have a camping grill that you want to use, you can grill the meat and make the TaCones all on that right on site at your destination. If I were camping, I would probably go that route. But since I'm putting this together for a tailgate, I want it to be super, super easy to assemble, and I want to do as much as I possibly can right here at home. If you've been following my cooking for a little while, you know how much I love cooking with cast iron. And it works for beef, it works for so many things, and it's just the best way for me to get a solid heat distribution in the meal. I'm cooking my Aspen Ridge beef tenderloin today using a classic pan sear with an oven finish on my favorite cast iron pan. Doing it this way allows me to get that nice brown outside and then the perfectly cooked inside from the oven's indirect heat. So to do this, we're going to preheat the oven to 415 degrees Fahrenheit. When the oven is ready, we're going to heat our cast iron pan on high heat on the stovetop, and then once it's hot, I'm going to add some butter to the pan and cook the tenderloin for 2 minutes on each side. Then I'm going to transfer the pan, steaks and all, into the oven for 5 to 7 minutes. When the meat is done, we are going to slice it, but before we ever slice into a piece of beef, we are going to let it rest. So I'm going to transfer the meat to a plate because if I leave it on the hot cast iron, it's going to keep on cooking. So I'm going to move it over to the plate, and once it's rested, I'll take it back to my cutting board and I will slice it nice and thin for our TaCones. If you get outdoors as much as I do in the summertime, chances are you are going to have a small power generator around your house, and I'm going to be using this bad boy to plug my mini George Foreman grill into while I'm doing this out of the back of my vehicle. I know some cars that are a little bit newer also have a regular AC outlet, so that can work too, but of course you can also use your camping grill if that's how you cooked your steaks in the first place and you don't want to go with the George Foreman or another mobile little mini grill like this. If you do go the camping grill route, you'll want to pack your cast iron pan along with the grill so you can set it on top of your TaCones to kind of smush them down a little bit and get those nice grill marks going on. But if you're into glamping like me and you want to keep it super easy, then you're going to use the George Foreman. So if you plan to do this, just make sure that you test it out with whatever power source you're planning on using ahead of time to make sure that it's going to work once you get out to where you're going, because you don't want to have no way to create this TaCone once you get there. Now that I'm up at Red Rocks, I've got my cooler unpacked and my little pop-up kitchen all set up. And it's time to put my TaCones together. So I preheated my George Foreman, and I'm going to build the TaCone right on top of the grill. I laid down one of my fresh tortillas, and then I'm putting down a little bit of my queso fresco so that it'll get nice and melted right up close against the grill. Next, I'm adding some of my freshly chopped cilantro and fresh jalapeno, just giving that nice spice that I love so much in a dish like this. On top of that go my fajita veggies, so the red bell pepper and the red onion that I cooked at home. I just love all the colors in this dish. It's just so beautiful to look at and it tastes so good. On top of that, I'm putting some of my pickled red onions for the wonderful crunch and a little more color, plus that pop of acidity that really just brightens up all the flavors. My pre-sliced Aspen Ridge beef tenderloin goes on top of that. And I'm just gonna lay those right in there, and they will cook a little bit more in the grill, so I did them nice and medium rare. On top of that goes a freshly cut avocado that I sliced right up here at Red Rocks so it wouldn't get brown ahead of time. And then I fold it into the TaCone shape and place it directly on the grill. I don't need any spray oil or anything like that. And I like to press down on the grill a little bit, and this kind of just smushes the TaCone down a little bit. And it only takes about 3 or 4 minutes for the TaCone to get piping hot. So this is a perfect time to sip on my Mezcal Paloma and introduce my friends to the wines that I packed. So remember, I packed that Disruption Chardonnay, nice and balanced, a little bit of oak, really delicious. And then the Riesling, which is just slightly sweet. And if you have a dish with a little spice, that's gonna be great. And then the red blend, nice, bold, rich flavors. It will get a little bit chillier later, so that's a really nice option to have on hand. When the TaCone is ready, I'm gonna lay out a piece of tin foil and slide the TaCone out of the grill. And then I'm gonna wrap it in the foil just from about a halfway down to the bottom so that it doesn't drip all over the place, and it also helps it stay a little bit hotter as you enjoy it. That's all there is to it. So easy to put together with just a little bit of work done ahead of time. You can see all the colors and flavors just squished together with a little bit of grill marks, and it's so absolutely delicious in every single bite. So there you guys have it, the easiest, most delicious little pocket of goodness. I am gonna enjoy this and then get inside for the show. Cheers.